apparently bringing back the Kool-Aid Man TikTok challenge that first started during the pandemic.
Oh, no.
If you don't remember, it's when teens mimic the commercial.
There's another popular dare called the Kylie Jenner challenge, where teens put their lips in shot glasses, they suck all the air out. It's called the banana peel challenge.
The point is, young people can do a lot of dumb shit, and that can sometimes lead to them getting in trouble with the law.
2.7 million youth were arrested in 1996. That is 17% of total arrests made that same year.
2.7 million kids shoved into a system that swears it's corrective, but somehow keeps losing them in its own labyrinth. Feels intentional? Maybe not, but definitely not random. By committing crimes, youth are entering into a cycle of recidivism.
We interviewed Jean Rowland, who served nearly 10 years as managing attorney in the Juvenile Division in San Francisco. Here is what she had to say.
So recidivism, I think, is really triggering when it comes to youth. So you're looking at family structure, you're looking at environment, you're looking at so many different factors that go into recidivism. And in order to actually break the youth out of that particular path, you have to look at what can we do to essentially assist not just the youth but the family and the community to change that type of mentality, criminality, behavior.
Children are more likely to turn to criminal activity as a means to express anger and frustration and to establish self-esteem when growing up with parents who physically or verbally abuse each other or their children, or families with a substance abuser, or in poverty.
Anyone younger than 25 is far more likely to break laws and engage in other risky behaviors. Adolescents who are exposed to multiple types of trauma, especially as a child, motivates risky behavior and law breaking. The ability for these minors to self-regulate and have healthy brain development is blocked by this trauma.
The first contact with the justice system doesn't begin on the streets for many juveniles, especially in the 90s and 2000s. It begins right at school. This is known as the school-to-prison pipeline, a set of strict zero-tolerance policies that funnel students from public schools only into the courtroom.
Originally created during the 1990s era tough-on-crime laws, these policies mandated harsh and automatic punishment for disciplinary infractions. These infractions included students bringing weapons to school, as written in the Gun-Free Schools Act of 1994, bringing drugs to school, bullying or inciting violence, or even subjective behavioral issues.
Though intended to create a safer school community, these policies resulted in students receiving punishments ranging from suspension and expulsion to police arresting the student on the spot. Many of these policies are still effective in schools today, public and private.
The pipeline does not impact all students equally. According to the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights, during the 2017 to 2018 school year, Black boys received 23% of all suspensions and 26% of all expulsions, though comprising of about 7% of total students enrolled in public schools. Students with disabilities comprised of just under 16% of all enrolled students, but accounted for over 1/4 of all suspensions and expulsions. Why does it matter that kids are even going to school, besides education? The Citizens for Juvenile Justice organization claims that as of 2024, students with or without prior criminal records are twice as likely to be arrested when they are not attending school.
The problem is that when their time ends there, they're going back to the exact same environment that they left. And I think when you are a teenager, it's hard to turn away from people who you believe are your friends. It's hard to go off on your own and separate.
San Francisco is one of the rare counties where juvenile incarceration numbers have dropped significantly over the last decade.
According to Jean Rowland, the city has relied heavily on diversion, community-based programming, and major institutional shifts, including the closure of California's Division of Juvenile Justice and Log Cabin Ranch, which were large contributors to statewide youth confinement. Here, Jean will describe a program developed in her time at the DA's office of San Francisco.
The restorative justice program was developed in 2013 at the DA's office, and what we do there is we actually took the model of New Zealand.
What does this model really look like, though?
Victims have a say in whether or not they want to participate or agree to allow the youth who harmed them to enter the program.
The victim is then asked if he or she wants to participate in the program in the first place.
And then the program itself basically goes on two tracks. One is to assist the victim.
Essentially, the government assisting the healing process for the victim.
One is to look at the underlying reasons and I'd say social background and just needs of the youth and family.
Once both persons have gone through this developmental process, both parties are brought into the same room.
And we have them at a table, essentially, with community members, with family members for support, and they have a dialogue. So the dialogue is all about the person harmed, how to repair that harm, having the youth understand the impact of their actions, of their crimes, and then they develop a plan. The plan is how do you repair the harm, right? To the youth, to the victim, to the community, and then they have about, I'd say, 4 months to actually complete this plan. Okay. And if they are successful in it, then the case is never charged.
Youth arrests for violent crime decreased by 56% from 2010 to 2020, while youth arrests for all offenses declined by 74% during that same period. Facility closure has gained attention and support for several reasons, such as investments in alternative rehabilitation and community-based programs, cost savings, and recognition of the need to treat young offenders with the focus on rehabilitation rather than punitive measures.